Name, is that yours?
Yes.
Does it not say Croft on the bottom?
Oh, well, I wish it did.
Because everybody else has actually had their name attached to the bottle so that you don't get them muddled up and you can use them again and again and again. It feels like being back at school again.
Oh, well, I
when
might
you
have
had
to
to have
go
your
and
name
ask.
on your lunchbox and your water bottle.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe my one with Croft on is lurking somewhere down in the media centre right now. Maybe there's another Croft.
Maybe there's another one. But either way, there's a bottle down there with your name on it,
Yeah.
Annabelle, and you really should reclaim it before you leave. 5-2. Here's Nadal serving for a 2-1 lead. The lob from Djokovic. Nadal will let this one bounce, and he will shank his smash. So we all thought this set was far too straightforward. There must be a twist. There must be some drama still to come.
Well, I also said moments ago that, you know, we trusted him every single time he went up for a smash, and he hasn't missed a single one, and that was the first one that was an absolute shank. And this might get Djokovic's attention, mightn't it, if he gets this next point?
Yes, when you win the first point against the serve, suddenly there's a bit of interest. Why not come back from a double breakdown again? That's a first serve, springing off the tape. So long. And Nadal with his second serve. It is precisely midnight. It's June in Paris, Wednesday the 1st of June. And the second of the men's quarterfinals still very much in the balance. Forehand from Djokovic, backhand from Nadal. Forehand from Djokovic is just a little bit long. So, pinch punch first of the month. No returns.
You beat me. What is it, punch and a blow for being so slow?
It's not yet flaming June, is it? We don't have the temperatures that we're supposed to have. But then again, it is midnight. Forehand from Nadal, the forehand from Djokovic. Nadal with the forehand cross-court. He's 3 points away from taking a 2-1 lead. Forehand Djokovic into the net. They played one 5-set match at Roland Garros before, and that was one of the greatest tennis matches I've ever had the pleasure of watching, their semi-final in 2013, which Nadal won by 9-7. That cannot happen again. We'll have a 10-point tiebreak if we get to 6-all in the 5th set. Forehand from Djokovic, Nadal with the forehand. Lob from Djokovic. Nadal is going to run back, and this is going to land wide. And it's one less shot he needs to play. And how about this? 2 set points to Rafa Nadal, who, remember, was 3-love and a double break-up in the 2nd set, having won the 1st set with a storming performance. Djokovic ripped the set out of his hands. All the momentum seemed to be with the world #1, but this has been Nadal's response. He serves down the middle, backhand from Nadal, set point to him. Djokovic with the forehand down the line, and the first of 2 set points has been saved.
He's not in the mood for long rallies, Novak Djokovic, at the moment, is he? He's really pulling the trigger down the line quite a lot early in the rallies. He just wants quick, short points. Almost, you can sense, just wants to get on with the 4th set, to be honest.
Second set point to Nadal. Forehand reply from Djokovic, a really powerful return, going for everything now, deep in this set, but that was a really lazy, loose forehand cross-court. Djokovic misses, staring up at a few people in the crowd. Seems very, very deflated at the moment. The energy was all his at the end of the 2nd set, but Nadal started so swiftly in the 3rd set again, and only 38 minutes is taken in to seize the initiative back. He leads by 2-1. He's aiming for a 14th French Open title. He is trying to equal Real Madrid's 14 Champions League titles. He's got a lot of work still to do in this match and beyond, but tantalisingly, Dalit, now 1 set away from victory and leading Novak Djokovic by 2-1.
Terrific stuff, Russell. Thank you. Breathtaking tennis. Stay with us on 5 Live. 2 hours, 59 minutes on the clock. There will be at least one more set played live from Roland Garros. But let's, for the time being, get the latest BBC News with Sani Rudravajula.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Prime Minister's independent advisor on standards says Boris Johnson must set out his case in public if he doesn't believe his lockdown party fine breached the ministerial code. Boris Johnson has replied to Lord Geitz saying there was no intent to break the law and therefore there was no breach. Earlier today, a 28th Conservative MP, John Stevenson, publicly called for him to go. Meanwhile, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer and his deputy Angela Rayner have received questionnaires from Durham Police as part of an inquiry into alleged COVID rule breaking. They both deny the allegation relating to a meeting in April last year where they had beer and curry. The Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, says he hasn't seen enough progress in tackling travel disruption at airports. Many passengers are having to change holiday plans after airlines, including EasyJet, TUI and British Airways, cancelled flights. Staff shortages have been blamed for some of the disruption. And Bradford's been named the UK City of Culture for 2025. It saw off County Durham, Southampton and Wrexham to win the prize.
This is 5 Live Sport.
Laura Robson listening on in the UK. I think few of us believed at the end of that second set, which was dominated by Djokovic, that Nadal would have so, dare I say, easily win that third set.
I mean, I don't know that anyone thought that Rafa was going to be able to turn it around the way that he just did there. And it's just a bit strange to me to see how flat Djokovic got as soon as he went the early breakdown. It just looked like mentally that he wasn't anywhere near as pumped as he was in the second set. And so I'm interested to see really how he comes out and starts here and whether he can get himself going again. But, you know, in this match, momentum changes are happening all the time and you just really have no idea what's coming next.
And we don't, do we? A message from Amy on socials. This is not quite the relaxing pre-bedtime routine I'm used to, but I'm here for it. We're all here for it too, Amy. And David Law's back for it alongside Annabelle Croft.
I'm here for it as well. Yeah, quite happy to carry on late into the night here because this is frankly a privilege to witness for us. We hope you're enjoying it listening on BBC Sounds or on your radio or wherever you are right now. And we're going to bring you every ball of this encounter, this extraordinary sporting contest between Novak Djokovic and Rafa Nadal, who now leads by 2-1. He's won that third set just as he did the first set, 6-2. Drop shot Djokovic. In comes Nadal. He clears the net. It dribbles over. Even Djokovic can't reach it. He was a little unlucky because the ball just touched the net as it went over, which took a bit of pace off. But Djokovic, I think, feels that everything, the world, is against him right now.
Yeah, I agree with Laura. I think he just went surprisingly flat in that third set, but still no real reaction from him. And it's great to see so many of the crowd still here, sitting in their seats. I mean, it's still an electric atmosphere. They're not going to budge, are they, till the end of this match? But I also think he thought he'd won the point with that drop shot. Yeah. He'd kind of almost finished playing and suddenly Nadal scampered up to it and got it back.
Backhand return, deep cross-court from Nadal. Now a hooked forehand cross-court. He leads 2-1. He hits his forehand on the line. Djokovic reaches it and is swinging for the hills now as Djokovic steps in with the forehand on the line. Cross-court goes Nadal, but just wide it goes. And Djokovic is really stepping on the accelerator now. I think he knows, look, it's now or never. He's got to win this set. The only way he's going to do it is if he finds the energy levels he found in that second set. He can't afford another flat start.
No, that's absolutely right, David. And it feels as if he's brought the energy at the start here, doesn't it? Different feeling about him, different energy about the way he's walking in between points and what he's doing already in those first 3 points.
I've just had a look through, a scan through the 58 previous meetings between these two. Extraordinary number. And I can't find any where Djokovic has won from 2-1 down against Rafa Nadal. Double fault Djokovic, 30-all.
I mean, it's hard to believe, you know, we haven't had a tie-break, and if you looked at the scoreline and you just showed up, you'd say, well, actually, it's quite a straightforward set, you know, 2-6, 6-4, 2-6. But 3 hours and 5 minutes for 26 games of tennis played. I mean, that's bizarre.
Well, I mean, that second set alone was an hour and 26 minutes long. Didn't we know about it? Only did the loo after that. Here's a backhand cross-court from Nadal, who crunches his forehand down the centre. Then a backhand cross-court. This is a 30-all point at the start of the fourth set now. Backhand cross-court from Djokovic, who really must win this point, you feel. He drops shots. In comes Nadal. He can't reach it. Absolutely perfect drop shot from Djokovic. It was almost like he walked over to the net and just sort of dropped it over.
I'm amazed he went for that, because considering that he's got off to such a bad start in all of the sets, to be honest, and there's always been those 30-all points, and to go to the drop shot once again, it's such a risky play. And he just lost a point off the drop shot as well, so that was either brave or madness, but he came out on top.
It was certainly audacious, and he got away with it, and now he's polished off a forehand down the line, still hitting the ball very firmly, very crisply, is Novak Djokovic. And you certainly wouldn't rule out a comeback when you think back to some of their 5-set classics over the years. What about the Australian Open in 2012, which ended 7-5 in the 5th set, and it was nearly 6 hours long. There was the one in Wimbledon 4 years ago, which ended 10-8 in the 5th set to Novak Djokovic. Russell was referencing the one at Roland Garros here in Paris in 2013, 9-7 in the 5th to Rafael Nadal. They've had some absolute epics.
I think it's 7-2 in head-to-heads here, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the French Open. So Nadal has definitely had the edge here on this very court.
Players have changed ends. It is now 10 past midnight local time, and hardly anybody is left.
No. Actually, I've just spotted the trumpeters might have left.
I reckon that's a bathroom break, Annabelle. They're going to be back. Here's a forehand down the line from Nadal. Backhand cross-court, wrong footing Nadal from Djokovic. Now forehand cross-court, but he's unlucky. It's off the top of the net. Sits up for Nadal to go for the pass. And it crushes the racket of Djokovic, who slams his racket into the tape of the net, and he's getting booed.
Well, that's why he hasn't shown too much emotion out here, because that's how quickly the crowd can get on top of you, and that might be quite significant. It's not easy taking this crowd on, and you can understand his frustration.
Yeah, I mean, he was really unlucky there, wasn't he? He smashed the ball into the tape of the net. It was going for a clean winner. It jumped up in the air really high, and it sat up for Nadal to pass, and the passing shot nearly hit Djokovic, and he was furious, and he slammed his racket into the net. The one thing is, though, you would never see Nadal do that. Nadal has never thrown his racket on the floor in his entire career as he hits his forehand into the net. And the crowd, well, they let their thoughts be known.
Yeah, they do, and they don't like it. They love to wind a player up, which is why I think we've seen absolutely no reaction from Djokovic until that moment. It's taken 3 hours and, 8-9 minutes for him to really lose his rag with the net. But, of course, it can make a massive difference, can't it, when you can have a huge electric crowd like this that will suddenly turn on you.
If you get on the wrong side of this crowd, you know about it. 6-2 first set Nadal, 6-4 second set Djokovic, 6-2 third set Nadal. Now love one down he is in the 4th set. 3 hours and 9 minutes they've been going toe-to-toe, these two. And for the most part it's lived up to all expectations, although that was a flat set in that third one from Djokovic, and the most surprising scoreline I could have imagined as a backhand is hit with a volley by Nadal down the line. Now, I left this commentary box after that 6-4 second set, and I thought the same as Russell.
You might have an hour and a half.
Probably over. I thought it's probably over, and it's Djokovic who's going to win the match from here. To think that he would lose that set in half an hour.
I know. No one could have seen that coming. And I think these tactics that Nadal, the adaptation to things that are going on, of course, they both have to really change what's going on in terms of the patterns of play. But the way Nadal has used that short slice so effectively, that was early on. Now he's used more sort of shots coming forward. He's thrown in the odd serve and volley. You know, that last point there finished at the net.
If you're a Washington homeowner,
tactics,
2022 is your last chance.
People now are shielding themselves against the elements. Everybody's wrapped up in a coat. There are blankets out there as a forehand hit into the net by Nadal. This is 30-all now. Down to our right, it looks like somebody has come equipped with about 100 grey blankets and has just handed them out to everybody in their little section. A little further on, it's green blankets. Over to our left, it's turquoise blankets. We have colour-coordinated blanket scheme
everywhere.
here.
Different colours of blue and green.
I think those are the expensive seats where you get perks.
I think so.
2-1 Nadal. 1-love Djokovic in the fourth set. 30-all here on 5 Live. The French Open quarter-finals. Winner faces Alexander Zverev in the semi-finals. These two great champions who've won 15 French Opens between them. 2 for Djokovic, 13 for Nadal. But Nadal's gone long with his forehand. This is breakpoint Djokovic.
Forcing return from Djokovic, getting that ball really deep once again, and just surprising error from Nadal. Perhaps it's his turn for a little bit of a drop-off.
Nadal at 30-40, break point against him at the start of the fourth set. Djokovic hasn't started this set flat. He hits his forehand cross-court and his eyes are bulging as at the moment on Djokovic's as he hits these balls down the centre. Now he's got another forehand cross-court. Then Nadal reaches and hits a short chip cross-court as he hit the line. Surely he hasn't. Djokovic circles that line, that mark. The umpire stares at it. Nadal's marching up towards the umpire. He wants to have a look now. And where has the ball landed? Nadal is arguing with the umpire about where that ball landed. He thinks Djokovic might have circled the wrong mark. Well, let's see what the umpire says. Game Djokovic. The ball was out from Nadal, and the players are disagreeing.
Oh my goodness, tensions are mounting, and actually the way that Djokovic circled the mark was very sort of aggressive, kind of scooping around the clay, wasn't it? And Nadal is angry, and I'm not sure that's a good thing, actually.
Fascinating, isn't it? And the crowd are
well, I think
pretty firmly in Nadal's corner right now.
Yeah, definitely.
In a way, that might be exactly what Djokovic wants. He is never more dangerous when cornered than when he thinks he's been wronged. He hits his forehand cross-court for a clean winner. He's 2-love ahead now in the fourth set. It's 2-1 Nadal. Is this going all the way?
I mean, that was such a close call, wasn't it? It was such a great shot that Nadal hit, and almost impossible to really call it. And when you see those judgment marks, when it's a bit of a smudgy ball mark down there next to the line, and you just think, well, was it on the line? Did it compress and hit it? I mean, I thought it was a difficult call.
Forehand hit cross-court by Nadal. That's pretty much as angry as I've seen him on a tennis court all year. He hits his backhand down the centre and nets. And Djokovic is taking charge of this set now. 2-love, 30-love.
Yeah, this crowd are ready to sort of explode a bit, aren't they? You can feel the atmosphere changing and the tension mounting.
Two-love Djokovic serves that one onto the backhand of Rafael Nadal, who 30-love behind really lets his frustration out with that one. Now he hits another short chip cross-court, reads the passing shot from Djokovic, but Djokovic is there with a backhand volley, and then Djokovic stares down the other end of the court at Nadal. And I think he was eyeballing him there.
Yes, I think you're right, David. It's sort of it's got a bit tense out here, and that's one of the few times that he's won one of those points when Nadal has drawn him in. Nice finish with the backhand volley, kind of snaps the wrist over.
Wow, wow, wow.
It's all happening.
They've played each other 58 times before, but I rarely remember tension between the two players like this as Djokovic unloads on a forehand, and that was an angry forehand. Clean winner. He sits down with a 3-love lead. Nadal sits down, leading 2-1. It's in the balance, Delith, and it is tense between these two right now.
It certainly is, isn't it, David? Laura Robson, I mean, listening to that, we said towards the beginning of the match, even after the first couple of sets, that we hadn't seen much emotion from both these players, but my word, emotion has certainly come out in the last couple of games.
Yeah, it's a bit spicy all of a sudden, and I can now see why Djokovic was trying to hold it in for the first couple of sets, because as soon as he gave the crowd anything to work with, they were all over him and they automatically went very pro Rafa. But I also think that they're enjoying it so much that they want this to go to 5, they want to drag it out, and I've got no idea how they're going to get home, but I don't think even they care anymore, and I don't think anyone does. I mean, it's just been so exciting to watch. We've had a bit of everything, and just when you sort of think Djokovic is looking really flat and a bit down and out, then he comes back, and it was the exact same thing that Rafa did at the beginning of the third. So you really just can't call it anymore, and I just think, you know, we knew at the start of the match we were in it for the long haul when the first couple of games took about 45 minutes, and here we are a couple of hours later.
I'm sure Colin Murray will be enjoying it as well. He will be with us on 5 Live after the resumption of this match, whenever that may be. 11 UK time. You're an hour ahead in Paris, David Law, and I'm seeing plenty of young children in the crowd.
Yes, nobody's going anywhere. And Laura pointed out to me as well that some of the people with their blankets, the brown blankets over them, look like the priests out of Game of Thrones, which is a reference that Laura knows about and I don't, but I take a word for it. Here's a short forehand cross court from Djokovic for a clean winner.
Well, when they came out from the change of ends, David, they both charged at exactly the same time, and then they crossed over, but neither catching the other's eye and just looking straight ahead. You can almost feel the electricity between the two of them as they changed ends then.
Yeah. Well, they've been sharing the court together for the last 16 years. That's how long this rivalry's been going for, and Djokovic winning this tug-of-war in the 4th set now. 3 games to love ahead he is. 15 all on the Nadal serve, and Nadal, to some degree, might at some point in this set begin thinking about some sort of energy conservation, knowing that a 5th set might be on the way. How far back is too far back in this set for him? Love 3 at the moment. 15 all. Serves down the centre with a banana serve, Nadal, and long goes the return of Djokovic. It is only 1 break of serve, though, Annabelle. If Nadal holds here, he could still be dangerous.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the amount of times he's making inroads into Djokovic's service games. You remember that whole period of time where Djokovic was just struggling to really hold serve, having to fight and dig so deep to get through service games and not really getting too many free points. That's kind of shifted, hasn't it, in this last patch of play.
Nadal serves at the backhand. He's at 30-15 here, now 40-15 as he hits a cross-court forehand winner. He's still hitting the ball very nicely indeed. And actually, if I think back right to the start of the match when the two players were in the tunnel, there was not a glance between them. There was not a hello. There was, you know, and not necessarily that there should be, but there kind of usually is a bit of acknowledgement
yeah, exactly.
of each other. When they were at the net, they were blanking each other completely as Nadal hits his big serve down the centre and it goes long.
I suppose it's the hugely significant nature of this match, isn't it, in terms of the history of the game going forward as to who might well go on and take this title. I mean, can you imagine if Nadal goes 2 ahead of Djokovic?
Yep. Currently, Nadal is on 21 Grand Slam singles titles. Djokovic is on 20. Roger Federer's on 20, and they've got a 6 Grand Slam title gap to the next player, Pete Sampras, who's long since retired. 3-1 now, Djokovic leads in this 4th set, but Nadal ahead by 2-1. The other thing is, I mean, Djokovic, so often we see him applaud an opponent's shots if they're really good. But I suspect this is too close for his liking. He isn't guaranteed to win, So,
He's not in that kind of mood, is
it's
he?
not exactly going to be the sort of thing you want to do, and I suppose Nadal's brilliance goes without saying. You don't really need to comment on it. Here's a backhand cross-court from the Spaniard. Can he get this break of serve back, perhaps? Or can Djokovic accelerate ahead? He hits his backhand down the line. Little chip attempt from Nadal, but into the net it goes.
And the other factor, of course, is that Djokovic has always had such a great winning record over his nearest rivals. I mean, you look at the head-to-head here, as we know, it's 30-28. If Nadal wins today, it just brings it within 1. Against Federer, he's, I think it's 27-23, which is an outstanding record against, you know, the great icons of this sport.
Sure is. Sure is. Djokovic asking for another ball to have a serve with here. He's 3-1 ahead here in the 4th set. The French Open quarterfinals against Rafael Nadal. Colin Murray to follow us here on 5 Live. Serve down the centre from Djokovic. Mid-court forehand for him. He puts it inside out and Nadal scoops it back up, but there goes Djokovic to pound it away with a forehand.
He is just pummeling the ball, isn't he? I mean, there's real venom going behind these forehands, and again, he's really pushing Nadal onto the back foot, who's occasionally just lunging at it and flailing around on the back baseline, just trying to get that ball back into play.
2-1 Nadal, 3-1 Djokovic, 30-love Djokovic, forehand done onto the backhand side of Djokovic, who drop shots. In comes Nadal, pokes it cross-court, lobbed by Djokovic over the head of Nadal, lands on the baseline. Nadal spins around to hit the backhand cross-court, and into the tram lines it goes, and it looks like Djokovic is going to extend this lead here. His coach, Goran Ivanisevic, the Wimbledon champion of 2001, was asked on the eve of this match, is Djokovic ready for best of 5 if it needs to go that far? He said he could play best of 10.
Did he really? I'm sure he's right. It's a mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, he is one heck of a physical specimen, is Novak Djokovic, elastically built as he serves that wide onto the muscular Nadal's forehand, and Nadal hits his backhand down the centre with a growl, as you hear, and long goes Djokovic, but it's 40-15 still on his serve.
Hard to read Novak Djokovic's body language tonight, isn't it? It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it, really. He's in that sort of a float mode of just sort of not giving too much away.
It's like he's in a trance.
Yeah.
And he's had his flat moments. Started the match quite well, but he was just blasted off the court by Nadal for the first hour. There's a drop shot's hit by Djokovic. In comes Nadal, plays a backhand and pokes it down the line. Lob volley by Djokovic. Smash high up with the backhand from Nadal, and nobody does that shot better.
Well, that's brought the crowd alive. I mean, brilliant work getting up to that short drop shot, so quick off the mark, and then leaping, almost like a dancer. And he sort of flicks it behind his head. Very difficult shot, makes it look so easy.
(3-1) Djokovic, 40-30. It was 40-love. Nadal plants those feet way behind the baseline, hits his backhand return down the middle. It's a little short. It sets up for Djokovic to smack into the forehand corner of Nadal, but Nadal's turning the tables here with lovely topspin drives. Now across court, backhand from him. Now down the line, but just into the tram lines. Nadal set that up perfectly with his ground strokes, but then when he pulled the trigger down the line with the backhand, he put it into the tram lines. And he walks back towards his chair. He lets Djokovic go first. Now he takes his seat. And it is 4-1, Novak Djokovic leading in the 4th set, but he trails by 2-1, Dareth.
And I just wonder, Laura Robson, obviously Djokovic just up a break in this 4th set, but are you getting the feeling that this will go the distance?
I think so, and I think Djokovic is now in a bit of a zone mentally where he just looks like, you know, this is his match to lose, and it's looked like that in a couple of different stages of the match where he just not been able to be quite consistent enough. And I actually think that both players haven't played their best tennis at the same time. When you look at the match as a whole, yes, Rafa started unbelievably, but then as soon as Djokovic started coming back at him, the level dropped, the intensity dropped, and it was the same in the third set, but the other way around. So I feel like if it does go to a fifth, which is what it's looking like at the moment, then hopefully they'll both come together and sort of go all out for that last set shootout.
Such a terrific match, David, and when these two players play, we just have to absolutely cherish it.
We do, Delith, because in all honesty, it may not happen very many more times. The last match they played against each other was exactly a year ago here in the semi-finals on that occasion. This is the quarter-finals, but Djokovic has turned 35 now. Nadal is 36 on Friday as he comes marching out to get the balls for his next service game. And they certainly look like they've got some more tennis in them. I'd say Djokovic has probably got 2 or 3 more years in him, maybe more than that. Nadal, well, he's had such difficulties with his foot problem, chronic foot problem, that he never really knows when will flare up to a point where he can't play. But he's always in pain. He says it's a question of managing that pain. He's learnt to deal with it as he serves out wide onto the forehand, and Djokovic hits the forehand long. But the sheer age that they've reached to still be playing like this, Annabelle, is remarkable.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's also you know, all that years and years of experience and being able to bring out such a high level for such a sustained period of time, and that consistency, it really is extraordinary.
I have the carrot, of course, dangling in front of them, of trying to one-up each other. I mean, there's nothing greater than that. They'll never need to work another day for money. They are already cemented in terms of their overall greatness, but who's going to finish on top of the pile? That's one of the things that they want to find out. Nadal will tell you till he's blue in the face that he doesn't think about finishing with the most Grand Slam titles. Whether that's true or not, it's up to you to decide, but he just is a natural born competitor, isn't he, as a forehand goes long from Djokovic and Nadal takes a 40-love lead. Well, Djokovic has been pretty open. He wants to finish with the most.
Yeah, I remember him saying that many, many years ago when he was so far behind Roger Federer, but he was quite young. It was early on in his career, and he just made it very clear, I want to end up with the greatest number. I want to be the best ever.
He may well do that yet. Here's a mid-court forehand that Nadal just dinks over the net. So a love service goal hold in about a minute and a half. And the balls go down the other end. Your turn, Novak.
Yeah, that was swift, wasn't it? As we're drawing to 3.5 hours on the clock. And I think, going back to that point, David, Nadal's attitude has always been, which has been remarkable, it was always what Billie Jean King always talked about, was just being able to play in the moment. And if you only ever walk on court and you play that one point at a time and you try to be the greatest tennis player that you can be in that one point, it stands you in good stead, and you never think too far ahead, you don't think behind, you don't think about titles, you don't even think about winning the titles, you just think about that one point. And that's quite difficult to do.
Yeah. Well, what a moment seeing these two players both getting their names chanted at the top of the voices of this crowd. Well, Djokovic pulling away from his serve here because he got a little irritated at one or two of the people that were calling out there. Damien Dumassoir, the chair umpire, just asking for silence. Djokovic serves out wide onto the backhand. He leads 4-2. Perfect return, though, from Nadal. Right onto the baseline. He's not finished with this set yet.
No, he's not, and he's marching around. In fact, his walk has become extremely quick, the way he puts one foot in front of the other, whereas Novak's has been quite slow and deliberate in between the points. I mean, they look very different in terms of the body language. Needs to take care here, Djokovic. Needs to try and seal this fourth set to get us into a fifth.
Well, Djokovic has been the chasing pack throughout this match, but Nadal now is doing the hunting in this set. 4-2 down, but 15 all as he hits the forehand long.
And interesting to see Novak sort of waiting for the crowd to settle, because sometimes when he's in a mood or in a certain mood, he'll just walk forward and he'll just serve. Doesn't matter whether the crowd have settled, it's on his terms, and he'll set the tone and the tempo of the match.
I think he's heard one or two things he hasn't liked out there. I'm not sure what they were, but just judging by his body language. Now, Nadal's walking forward to a mark that he's highlighting to the umpire here, and the umpire's saying, yep, that ball was wide, so Djokovic is going to have to serve this ball again.
I think Damien Jimswell was expecting a bit of an explosion there from Djokovic, and he just sort of raised his hand as if, OK, fine, I'll accept that. But I wasn't sure myself whether he was going to. Best not to bait the crowd at this stage.
That's right. Forehand on the line from Djokovic, 15-all. Listen to the grunt and the effort of these two players after 3.5 hours as Nadal hits cross-court and out.
Well, they must be feeling some kind of fatigue, because that's both of them that have just shanked both of those last shots. We had the early shank in this game from Novak on the very first point, and then a miss-hit just now, followed by another miss-hit from Nadal. So, you know, it's just getting a tiny bit ragged, isn't it?
Yeah, not surprising at all what these two players put themselves through when they're up against each other. Forehand hit cross-court by Nadal. It's a backhand cross-court now, but that's wide. Lovely backhand on the line from Djokovic to set up that point, and he moves to 40-15.
Well, nice clinical ball striking that time from Novak. That wonderful backhand down the line, the way he gets so balanced, turns the shoulders. He's kind of in a rush to get through this set.
20-1 in the morning here now in Paris as Nadal hits his forehand cross-court. He's trailing 4-2 in the fourth set as Djokovic explodes into a forehand long. So he's leading 40-30 now. It's still Nadal ahead 2-1, but it was so finely poised right now.
Yeah, he's just banged his head, Novak Djokovic, after missing that. And I think he was trying to pull the trigger on that and just finish the game with a big, powerful forehand, and he's overhit it. But, I mean, you can understand it, can't you? To be playing tennis at this time in the morning, trying to find your best game. Really a nightmare.
I mean, these two, no matter when this finishes, they're going to end up in bed at about 6 a.m.
Well, let's hope not. It must be hard to get to sleep.
Yeah. Well, the sun's rising here the last few days at 7 or earlier. Here's a forehand cross-court by Nadal, who crunches another one. He's got Djokovic on the run here. Now down the line, Nadal, but he misses into the tram lines, only by an inch. And now Djokovic is clenching his fist, walking all the way back to his chair with a statement of a fist bump. And he's taken a 5-2 lead in the fourth set. But it's Nadal ahead by 2-1, Derek.
And that's probably the most aggressive and focused Novak Djokovic has looked at the end of a game, and obviously at the end of towards the end of a set, Laura Robson. He just looks in the zone, doesn't he?
He does, and that's also probably the two quickest games that we've had in the entire match, where, yeah, I agree with Annabelle that both of them are just starting to look a little bit tired in the legs. Especially Rafa, there's been a couple of forehands where it just hasn't looked like he's had the same rotation around the ball, not the same footwork that he had. But I almost feel like they're both conserving a bit of energy for this fifth set here. And I mean, 5-2, you have to think it's going that way. And it just seems like both of them are already thinking ahead here.
You wouldn't blame them, would you? Colin Murray will perhaps be thinking ahead as well. He is due on 5 Live straight after the resumption of this match, whenever that may be, David Law.
We'll get to you eventually, Colin. But this is something to behold. As a sporting contest, it just doesn't really get better than this in the sport of tennis, I don't think. The two most prolific Grand Slam title winners in men's tennis history, along with Roger Federer, of course. But these two are still going. 21 Djokovic has won. Nadal has won. 20 Djokovic has won. And this match, in keeping with that, is finely poised as well. 2-1 Nadal leads, but it's Djokovic 5-2 ahead in the fourth. And he needs just one more game to take this incredible clash all the way. Serve down the centre from Nadal. Long goes Djokovic.
Yeah, I think Nadal would want to serve first in the fifth. I mean, they both do. So that's why he's going to try and get this game under his belt, I think. There's no sign of him just sort of thinking, well, I'll conserve energy on this particular game, I don't think.
No. Make him serve it out. See if even the great Novak Djokovic might get a little bit nervous. Off the top of the net goes his return. Nadal steps in and puts the forehand down the centre, now smashes. I think Djokovic may have slightly switched off from this game already, thinking about serving it out in the next one.
That smash was well caught by a gentleman in the front row of the president's box. He just sort of stuck an arm out and caught it.
And that smash was moving, so well done that man. Nadal actually had a sort of look down the other end as he did that. I think he was quite impressed. Quite a sight to see a full house inside Court Philippe Chatrier at 20-1 in the morning, which I think is an absurd time, really, to be still in the fourth set of a tennis match, but that's where they've scheduled this night session to begin at 8:45 local time. And if it becomes a classic, you end up in the early hours, just the way it is. Backhand cross-court from Djokovic. Wow, what a forehand on the line by Nadal. Goodness me, you heard the gasps of this crowd. He hit that full velocity, bending left to right around the net post and into the corner.
Yeah, that was like a spear going down the court, wasn't it? I mean, it was so low, so aggressive. A lot of power on it, and like you say, that kind of banana curve that he puts on the ball, and it's just so much balance and strength coming through his body when he hits it on the move.
A point to make Djokovic serve for the fourth set, but Nadal nets his forehand. Tomorrow, the second men's quarter-final, third and fourth actually, because we've already had Alexander Zverev win through today. He'll face the winner of this match. It'll be Casper Ruud against Holger Rune tomorrow. Norway and Denmark against each other in that one. Marin Cilic against Andrei Rublev in the other one. Here's a forehand down the line by Nadal, chips his backhand down the centre. He has a game point here to make Djokovic serve for this fourth set. Forehand down the line by Djokovic, he nets, and Nadal will make him serve it out. Nadal walking back to his chair. I think he's just going to get something out of his bag and prepare himself to try to break the Novak Djokovic serve if he possibly can. Listen to this crowd.
Oh, he's taken a new racket, David, so he wants some extra sort of, I don't know, fresh strings and a nice grip that feels good. Novak Djokovic is not a dead cert for this serving out game, is he?
Nope.
Enormous pressure right now.
Novak Djokovic with his bright red shirt and white shorts will serve for a fifth set. Down the centre goes his serve. Smacks his forehand into the corner. Nadal's there, lifts his forehand cross court. Now it's his backhand on the centre. That's deep. Perfect length from Nadal. Drop shot Nadal. And Djokovic didn't even bother trying to set off for that. And I don't know why, because that wasn't even a very good drop shot.
No, it wasn't. It landed quite far in the court, but I think he lost his footing on the back baseline, and it was quite a passive point from Djokovic. No, he didn't even go for that.
Oh, well. Love 15 on Djokovic's serve. Ace out wide, 15 all. Goodness me, you'll have enjoyed that. Not having to get into another lung-busting rally.
Absolutely, very smooth service delivery, wasn't it? Getting up after it, really using the legs. Needed a free point there.
3 more of those will get him into a fifth set against Rafael Nadal. Serves down the centre onto the forehand. It comes back at him. Nadal will hit his forehand on the line. Oh my word, what a shot that was. Now back another line. And Djokovic can't get anywhere near it. This is a return to set 1 form from Nadal.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. He has just stepped on the pedal. On the accelerator, absolutely rifling forehand. Now listen to that crowd. It's also the fact that he hits these shots with both feet off the ground, and it's just the timing and the whole way that he presents that forehand. It's just mesmerising.
2-1 Nadal leads, 5-3 Djokovic serving to take it into a fifth. But he's at 15-30 down. Serves down the centre, blocked back by Nadal. Mid-court forehand, Djokovic goes cross-court for a winner, 30-all.
Well, that was a really neat, tidy serve, wasn't it? Everything about what we think about Novak Djokovic, the way he looks with his shirt and the collar, and everything looks so pristine. You know, he's got a very neat, tidy tennis game, and that serve just lived up to expectations there, hitting that corner junction just when he needed it most.
He's just trying to manage this situation, Djokovic. He knows Nadal's going to go for it if it's anywhere near him, so he's trying to keep it away from him by putting serves right into the corners like that. One more point will take Novak Djokovic level with Rafael Nadal at 2-all and put us into a fifth and deciding set here at Roland Garros. And if they need to, if they get to 6 games all in that fifth set, it'll be a 10-point tiebreak to decide who wins. First, though, set point Djokovic. Ball clips the top of the net and goes over the service line, so it'll be another go for Djokovic. Nadal with his bright yellow shirt and green shorts down beneath us is apologised to by Novak Djokovic, who threw the ball into the air, misjudged the toss, let it drop, and he's going to do it again. Set point Djokovic onto the forehand of Nadal, who hits humming topspin with that forehand. Now a backhand down the centre from him. Down the line goes Djokovic with his backhand. Then steps in, cross-court and nets. That was a tight backhand from Djokovic. Nadal's not done yet, it's juice.
Yeah, that was a really tight backhand, and every ground stroke was down the centre of the court. It was fairly passive, and then when he went for a little bit more into the corner, he didn't really release on that. And big reaction from him, looking up to the sky. Crowd, absolutely electric.
This just feels like about the ultimate challenge for Novak Djokovic right now. He's taking on the greatest Roland Garros champion we've ever known in men's tennis. 13 of these things he's won. And he serves out wide. Nadal chips it back. Djokovic steps in, crunches a forehand cross court. Lob goes over his head, but it's long, and Djokovic once again deals with the problem and gets to set point for a second time in the game.
Well, what a fabulous serve that was. I mean, again, just precision, out wide to the Nadal backhand, catching him off balance, getting the shorter reply, and then thundering another forehand into the backhand corner, making no mistake about that, and nothing passive about that point whatsoever.
So set point for a fifth set. Serve down the centre from Djokovic. Backhand cross-court. Nadal reaches it, scoops back the forehand, but Djokovic with a chance to come into the net. But he's passed with a backhand on the line from Nadal. And a little skip from Nadal as he goes to get his towel. But Djokovic did not do enough with that approach shot.
No, he's looked a little hesitant coming forward because of the amount of times that he has been passed. I mean, that time he was wanting to come forward, it was on his terms, but there's been so many times where he's been drawn forward purposefully, tactfully by Nadal and then passed, and I think it's made him unsure coming forward.
Yeah, it has been a tactic at times for Nadal, hasn't it? He's just sort of imparted a lashings of backspin on a slice, brought him up the court, almost against Djokovic's will at times. But Djokovic still 2 points away from a fifth set here. Nadal hits his backhand with real venom. Now he steps in with a forehand. And Nadal jumps into the air. And a man to our right is on his feet, roaring in the direction of Nadal, who's got break that point.
Well, the second serve was attackable, and Nadal was onto it, got it on the baseline, got a short, sort of slightly mishit ball from Novak, and then Nadal pouncing on it.
$15,000 people at nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. with the lights beaming down on these two great champions. Rafael Nadal has break-back point. Novak Djokovic is trying to get into a fifth set. 5-3 leads, but he's just hit the serve long. Colin Murray to follow here on 5 Live at the end of this match as Nadal crunches his forehand with loads of topspin again. Now another forehand inside out that is driving Djokovic back. A chip down the centre now by Nadal. He moves to his right and hits another backhand, just digs it out. But this is big hitting from Djokovic, who steps into that backhand and drop shots. In comes Nadal. Will he reach it? I'm not sure he did. It doesn't matter anyway, because Djokovic pounces and slams the ball past him. And then eyeballs all the Nadal fans as if to say, I'll take you all on.
That's exactly what that looked like. That was like parading like a matador round the arena there, just sort of soaking it up and saying, take that, you lot. That was unbelievable. Not even any fist pumping, done all with facial expression.
Yeah. 2-1 Nadal, 5-3 Djokovic. Deuce. Serve onto the backhand of Nadal. Forehand down the line by Djokovic, right onto the baseline. Perfect hitting from him. Chipped down the line by Nadal. The quality is extraordinary from these two at the moment. Backhand on the line is missed by Djokovic. It's break-back point again for Nadal.
Well, he just cut that a little fine, Djokovic. It's been working so beautifully the entire match, but just came a little inside that ball when he hit it. Sure, he's shouting there. It's not the umpire.
Well, I think Nadal went over to the little metal box that holds the towel, and lots of people were shouting his name right next to him. Come on, Rafa. He's like, I'm trying my best. The ball bouncing of Novak Djokovic, who's break point down. He misses the first serve. Nadal leads 2-1. Djokovic leads the fourth set 5-3, and he's serving to take it all away. But this is break-back point for Nadal. He doesn't want to go to a fifth. Forehand down the centre from him. Now and a huge forehand winner. That ain't coming back. Nadal's back on serve. The Spanish flags are flying inside court Philippe Chatrier here in Paris. And Delith, on it goes. Nadal refuses to yield. He's now 5-4 down, but it's back on serve.
Wow, wow, wow. You couldn't make it up, Laura Robson. Just as we're running out of superlatives to describe this match, incredible stuff.
Seriously incredible. I mean, just when we said that it looked like both players were thinking about the fifth set, that was vintage Rafa. It just goes to show he never gives a single point away. And up until the very last point, up until they've shaken hands, he will give absolutely everything out there. And he just was able to find something. I mean, I'm not even sure what he did there. It was just like he made one extra ball here and there. He went for a bit more with his backhand side. I think he was dropping into the slice a bit more on the backhand to mix things up. But it just looks like Djokovic, whenever Nadal adds that extra bit of pace, he looks a bit unsure of himself. And there was a couple of balls there where it just looked like he pulled off it, or at the start of the game when he didn't even run for the drop shot. And, you know, I've really got no idea anymore.
I don't think anyone has.
We've been on for so long, and yet I have no idea what's going to happen outside of this changeover.
It is ridiculous. Approaching 3 hours 50. There are thousands of people across the UK refusing to go to bed, David Law, and there's thousands inside Philippe Chatrier refusing to go home as well.
And they're all right to do exactly that, Delith, because this is as good as it gets in terms of sport. I think so anyway. There's loads of wonderful champions in sport. I think recently of all those incredible matches between Liverpool and Manchester City. And they've been going toe-to-toe. The 3-fight trilogy between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So many of them. Well, here are two of the best in tennis that we've ever seen going toe-to-toe. Backhand goes long from Novak Djokovic. And he's starting to look, dare I say it, Annabelle, a little weary.
Yes, he is, and a bit vulnerable, actually. That backhand letting him down a few times in this match. Maybe this crowd is having an impact.
Yeah, he last played a 5-set match back at the US Open, I believe. Of course, because he hasn't played any here. He didn't play the Australian Open. It's a long time ago to go that long without going the distance for Novak Djokovic, whereas Rafael Nadal played multiple times at the Australian Open, of course, on his way to the title there, that improbable title win. And Nadal is starting to believe with every strike here. He's beginning to turn this 4th set now in his own favour. It's still on serve. He's 4-5 down, but he has the momentum at 30 love.
Yeah, he does, and I think he senses that he just needs to bring energy now. And, you know, all of that ball striking that we had from him in that first set and a half, you know, that forehand he just hit with, you know, ferocity again, and almost going backwards with the body weight, but still producing that power. Quite incredible.
Nadal serves onto the backhand. It's whipped back at him onto the baseline by Djokovic at 30 love for Nadal. 5-4 Djokovic, and Nadal's just gone long. And Nadal's circling the mark. Down comes Damien Demassoire. I think the ball was out, indeed it was, but the crowd are so into this now, they can't handle it.
No, I mean, even when Djokovic circled that mark, it looked a bit odd, actually. I thought, well, it's quite close down there, but Demassoire quite confident that it was. I don't think Nadal thought it was when he hit it.
Because there's a sort of top dressing to a clay court, which is like sand, and when the ball lands on it, it leaves a very visible mark. And pretty much all the time, a player will go up, the one who's nearest to it, and draw a circle in that clay, that sandy top dressing, with the racket. And as he goes long with a backhand, Djokovic, and Nadal extends his lead here as he tries to get level up at 5 games all in the 4th set, 2 sets to 1 ahead. Nadal.
Well, Djokovic is just banging his left forearm, and of course, you know, he's had those opportunities to close out this set. He just couldn't get it done. Too much pressure coming down the other end from Nadal.
Point for 5-all. Nadal crashes his serve down the centre. The return hits the net, and I tell you what, I can tell who's got the energy out of these two at the moment. It's the bloke down the other end with the yellow shirt, with the bulging biceps and the Bull logo on his shirt.
I mean, this is incredible strength of character from Nadal right now, what he's showing and what he's bringing to this court. And of course, he's feeding off the energy of the crowd, but also giving them what they seem to be cheering for. And this is quite an atmosphere, isn't it?
Well, Novak Djokovic, as he bounces the ball just now, just nodded his head and gave a wry smile, and I'm not sure what that was about, whether it was maybe he's got too much for me today, I just don't know. Well, that's a forehand that makes you think twice, because it's clean winner down the line from Djokovic. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how much has this guy got left? But then you think of all those times he's dug into a well of energy which you didn't know he could possibly have had.
Yeah. When you think he's gone a little flat, and then suddenly he'll just come up with you know, the shots that he needs. So I agree with you. It's very, very difficult to tell right now. He needs some first serves in this game. When he got broken, second serves were being punished by Nadal.
That's Annabelle Croft here with us on 5 Live as Novak Djokovic serves at 15 love at 5 games all in the 4th set of this extraordinary tennis match as a forehand's hit cross court by Djokovic. Steps in now, inside out forehand into the corner. He's hitting the ball so crisply.
Yeah, that was a beautiful strike, and actually, you know, I wonder what would happen there, because Nadal was once again drawing him forward, but that time the tactic didn't work. Djokovic getting the footwork around that ball. He's having to have that precision once again, isn't he? With, you know, accuracy into the corners and no hesitation.
Swinging serve out wide from Djokovic, then down the centre he goes at 30 love, 5 games all. Nadal with a whipped forehand up the back of the ball to put lots of topspin on it. Djokovic absolutely hitting the living daylights out of the ball, but he's slightly impatient with that one, and he's pulled it into the tram lines.
Just puffing out his cheeks and just blowing out some air, just to sort of take a moment and a breather, Novak Djokovic.
Nadal at 30, 15 down at the far end. He hits his forehand return down the middle. Djokovic crashes another forehand that Nadal just scoops back. Cross court goes Djokovic with a forehand stunned volley, and that was exceptional control from Novak Djokovic, because that ball was hit so hard at him by Nadal. How did he do that? Take all the pace off it like that?
I thought he'd missed it, and he completely absorbed the pace with the racket, but to do that with a volley, and then he opened the face of the racket just to be able to kind of almost scoop it over the net and let it die. It was like a drop volley. I mean, it really was extraordinary, David.
Oh, it just gets better and better, this. 40-15 Djokovic, 5 games all. Now he's won the game, Djokovic. 6-5 he leads. And Nadal will sit down and try and take this into a 4th set tiebreak. Delith, can you handle it?
I don't think my nerves will hold. A 4th set tiebreak, Laura Robson. It could be on.
I think so. I mean, I've said that a bunch of times and I've been so wrong in this match because it's had a bit of everything. But I think we deserve a tiebreak, don't we? With the way this set's gone, it's been up and down. Rafa's been back in it. That was a bit of a loose game from him there. He held his own serve really, really well, but just couldn't quite get the momentum on the returns. And yeah, I mean, Djokovic, you never know what you're going to get with him, especially at the moment. I don't know what kind of mood he's in, and I'm trying to figure it out, but it just seems like it's been a little bit, you know, chop and change, and he's looking more towards the box all of a sudden. You see Ivanisevic almost doing a bit of coaching on the side there, and so I just don't really know what vibe he's going to give off at the end of this changeover.
So much at stake, of course, a place in the semi-finals at the French Open, but so much more than that too, David Law.
Yeah, because it's their rivalry, isn't it? It's their rivalry of 58 previous battles between the two, 30 of which have been won by Djokovic, 28 have been won by Nadal. Here they are again, locked in battle. 2-1 now for Nadal, 6-5 Djokovic trying to take it into a 5th set. And then there's the small matter of history. These two vying to win more Grand Slam titles than each other, and more Grand Slam titles than any man has ever won. Pretty big. 3 hours and 58 minutes this has been going on for. It's been utterly compelling. Both players just tapping the sole of their shoes with their rackets to release the little bits of red dust that gathers in the grills of their rubber soles. Serve down the centre from Nadal. First point of the 12th game. Djokovic trying to break now to send this into a 5th set. Forehand on the line from him, really big shot. Oh, that's even bigger though from Nadal. A roundhouse hook of a left-handed forehand down the line for a winner.
Ruthless. I mean, using his legs on that last forehand as well. Great strength. Same lasso finish, but again flattening it out over that high part of the net. Djokovic just didn't have it to turn and even attempt to make that one. That was too good.
A woman is leaving who's courtside. She's just rushed out from her little seat and she's been trying to creep out before the players start the rally again. Why is she leaving? Forehand down the centre by Nadal. The rest of the 15,000 aren't. Djokovic miscues his backhand. Down the line it goes into the tram lines. Nadal at 30 love now. 2 more points for a tie-break. Colin Murray will follow us here on 5 Live. Sometime, Colin, we will get to you. Probably don't know how long this is going to go on for. The beauty of live sport. There is a finish line. We know that there will be a finish line at 6 games all in the 5th set when they have a tie break. But we may be about to go to 6 games all in the 4th set. Backhand return snapped back at Nadal by Djokovic, and then a backhand on the line from him, but he's gone long, and Nadal's at 40 love.
And almost sort of quietness from Novak Djokovic. Absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He's just taking it all in his stride, just sort of strolling across very calmly in between points. He's been walking pretty slowly in between, hasn't he? In contrast to Nadal, who's like this sort of caged animal down the other end, just storming around the place.
And that's, I guess, more in keeping with their demeanours generally, but Djokovic does look the wearier of the two, I would say.
Yeah, I think
just
so.
at the moment, anyway. That may change. He may get an adrenaline rush. He may get an energy spurt. But this is a point for a tie-break for Nadal. Brilliant serve down the centre. Brilliant serve. Hit the spot. Ricocheted into the crowd off the return. We have a 4th set tie-break, folks. It could end in 10 minutes' time. It could end in over an hour. Listen to this.
It feels quite a hostile kind of atmosphere now, doesn't it? I mean, they're very much in favour of Nadal. And I always think when I sit and listen courtside to crowds like this, when they go against a player who's given their all, you know, it should be a little bit more respectful to somebody who's just thrown so much at a match and made it so competitive.
Yeah. The sheer numbers of people who want Nadal to win. There is such appreciation for him now. I was saying earlier that it wasn't always this way at Roland Garros. People were a little bit bored of him winning. They're not anymore. They want to make the most of him. Forehand cross-court from Nadal. First point of the tie-break in the 4th set. Nadal 2 sets to 1 ahead. Backhand on the line from him. Backhand cross-court Djokovic. Forehand chipped cross-court by Nadal. Chipped down the centre with the backhand by Djokovic. They're going toe-to-toe, knocking lumps out of each other. Forehand approach from Nadal, and Djokovic folds with a forehand that goes long, and Nadal wins the first point of the tie-break.
Well, a brilliant first point from Nadal. Once again, just bringing the energy, the intensity with the footwork around the ball, pushing Djokovic onto defensive positions. He couldn't find the gap with the forehand down the line. And I agree with you, David. I think he looks a little more wary, doesn't he? He doesn't seem to have so much strength in the legs to be able to push off and really get that weight behind the ball, whereas Nadal looks like he's playing the first game of the match.
The first point of the tie-break has gone against the serve of Novak Djokovic. So it's the first to 7 points in this tie-break, and 6-all in the 4th set. Forehand down the line by Nadal, and it's picture perfect. He moves to 2-0. He only needs 5 more points to beat Djokovic, his great rival, his nemesis so many times, the man who beat him here a year ago.
Well, that's a champion's mentality, what he just did with that last ball, because that was a central return of serve from Novak, just trying to reset the point, but Nadal just stamped on it, went for the line, nailed it.
Really is the equivalent to the penalty shootout in football, this, isn't it? The tie-break at the end of a set. When they came up with it, they didn't know if it would work. It's worked all right. It's the most exciting thing in tennis, I think, the scoring system and this tie-break in particular. First to 7 points, you must lead by a clear margin of 2, though, so if it's 6-all, they would play at least another 2 points. And then the 5th set tie-break is the first to 10, if they need it. It is 2-love Nadal in the 4th set tie-break. He'll now hit a backhand down the line. Djokovic with a backhand crunch cross-court. Great shot from him. Now he steps in and swipes to the forehand, but Nadal's read it and goes down the line!
Well, listen to that celebration, and once again, he's read that play so many times, and it's the same pattern, isn't it, where Djokovic is on the attack, he gets the short ball where he wants it, he lines it up, and he has a decision to make at that point. Does he go into the backhand corner, or does he go into the forehand, which has more space? He can maybe put that ball away. And Nadal just read it. He anticipated it and struck the forehand winner down the line. And Djokovic didn't do anything wrong, really. It's just one of those rolling the dice. Which way do you go?
Well, for us sitting inside this stadium, the sounds of those people watching, 15,000 of them chanting Rafa, it gives you goosebumps. It really does. Backhand down the line by Djokovic isn't required because the forehand's gone long from Nadal. So the first point that Djokovic has won in this tie-break, finally, he's 3-1 down.
Wow.
2-1, Rafael Nadal. Djokovic served for the fourth set to take it all the way. He led 5-3. Nadal broke back. It's now a tie-break and Nadal's 3-1 ahead. He needs 4 more points. Forehand blasted by Djokovic right onto the baseline. Somehow got back by Nadal. And long goes Djokovic. And he looks to the heavens. And finally, is he being broken down by the great Rafael Nadal? 4-1.
Well, it certainly seems that way, doesn't it? I mean, he was trying to bring down the hammer himself. He's trying to be brave. He's trying to go for it. These are desperate attempts to shift the momentum in this match. You know, a match that should have gone into a fifth set. He had the set point, didn't he, to take it into a fifth. He got a little bit tentative and tight. And Nadal has shown limitless amounts of energy.
2-1 Nadal, 6 games all, 4 points to 1 he leads in the tiebreak. He needs 3 more Nadal. He tries to go for an ace down the centre so that he doesn't have to work and doesn't have to toil. Because every rally seems like it goes on until he can run no more. Crowd being shushed, just that one lone voice irritating everybody. Nadal serves onto the backhand. Now a forehand on the line. He'll hit a backhand down the centre that Djokovic will reach. 4-1 down in the tie-break. Djokovic now moves into a backhand and hits it cross-court and out! And Nadal leads 5-1. And just 2 more points is all he requires as he changes ends with Novak Djokovic. He lets Djokovic walk ahead of him around the net post. They'll organise themselves at the chair. And the noise that you will hear when these two players come out to this, listen to this. Nadal just organising his water bottles to make sure they're in exactly the position he needs them to be in to feel comfortable as he comes out, needing 2 more points to reach the semi-finals of the French Open yet again.
Well, he's kind of keeping Djokovic waiting here. That was quite a long break, wasn't it? And Djokovic was standing there already in position. And Nadal taking that time, as you say, lining up the water bottles, toweling off, taking a drink. Djokovic just wants to get on with it.
It's a slight look of resignation to me about Djokovic. I'm sure he's trying his heart out, but he looks a little bit as if he doesn't think it's going to happen for him tonight.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. I mean, I'm not sure it is. I think he's thrown everything at this.
Nadal is just an irresistible force right now, and he's got 1 more point to set up match point. He hits his forehand down the centre. Djokovic is going out on his shield, though. He's swinging for all he's worth, but the drop shot hits the net, and Nadal has match point. Four hours and 8 minutes of the most spellbinding sporting drama. And Rafael Nadal, who we thought was going to have to retire at the end of last year, his foot was in such a bad way, has match point against Novak Djokovic. The first serve is called out. Nadal is walking over to the mark. He's going to have a look to see if he thinks the ball is in. He's asking for the umpire to have a look at it because he's not sure. Umpire says the ball is out.
That's a big delay.
Yeah. Djokovic now will serve. A second serve, match point down. Nadal with a forehand return. Djokovic hits his backhand cross court. Clean winner.
There was a really big delay between first and second serve, and
he's been held up quite a few times, hasn't he, Djokovic, in the last few points, but he handled the situation perfectly. Match point for Rafael Nadal to reach the French Open semi-finals against his great rival Novak Djokovic, who hits a forehand on the line. Nadal reaches it and goes cross-court, but long. 2 match points saved. 6-3 now. But these two will be on the Rafael Nadal serve. And the crowd are just going to try and will him over the line here. He's organising his towel. It's in the little box next to the flowers on the side of the court.
Djokovic is stretching out all his muscles in his upper body, just his arms, stretching out his biceps, twisting and contorting his body, just trying to get ready for this sort of really, really important point.
It's now or never for Novak Djokovic. Rafael Nadal has match point, but it's a clean winner return from Djokovic's forehand. We've seen this before from Novak Djokovic. I'll never forget watching him be match point down against Roger Federer multiple times and just swinging on the return, connecting, hitting clean winners and turning matches around. Could it possibly happen here?
I was just thinking that can we actually think the unthinkable? And actually that was almost the reverse, wasn't it? Like a mirror image of the shots that he hit against Federer when he saved the match points. They were cross-court return winners on the forehand side. That was from the ad side. But I would think the heart is pumping a little bit more after that from Nadal.
It was 6-1 Nadal moments ago. He had 5 match points. He's had 3. They've been saved. Here's another match point for Nadal to go through to the semis. Forehand off the back foot. Djokovic steps in with the backhand cross court. Now he'll step in again with the backhand on the line. Heaving it down the line is Nadal. Now cross court from Nadal. Off the top of the net it goes. Now Nadal will step in with the backhand on the line. Match point to him. Forehand cross court from Nadal. Cross court backhand from Djokovic, who steps in with the backhand on the line. Nadal cross court with the backhand again. Now he'll have a short one to have a go at. This time Nadal wins the match with the most stunning backhand on the line. He has beaten the world number 1. He's beaten his great rival Novak Djokovic. And Rafael Nadal is the man that is into the semi-finals of the French Open, a tournament he's won 13 times before. And even he looks like he can't believe it. His head is in his hands. He's applauding all sides. And not even Djokovic could stop him. Annabel Croft, what have we just witnessed?
Well, we have witnessed a very, very special match and an incredible win from Rafael Nadal, and you almost could sense from how he celebrated there that meant so much to him, didn't it? The way the match started, the way it twisted and turned. I mean, it really should have gone to a 5th set, but Djokovic just tightened up, perhaps, you know, not playing best of 5 sets for such a long time. Maybe that had some sort of impact. As we know, he's still trying to build his levels up again, but extraordinary contest, a very, very special moment to witness it. And you had to just admire the tactics of Nadal. The start, which was shock and awe tactics. I've never seen him like that, with the aggression, you know, flat strikes into the corners, very, very hard and flat.
The line just breaking up a little bit
short
there.
slice, drawing him in, passing him time.
I think we're losing Annabel Croft a little bit. We're losing the line to Philippe Chatrier. Obviously, 15,000 people inside the stadium on their feet. Might be having a little bit of effect on the Wi-Fi, but my word, what a quarter-final we've just had the privilege of listening to here on 5 Live Sports. A terrific match, Laura Robson. Breathtaking, simply breathtaking stuff. And Rafa Nadal, time and time again, continues to defy the odds.
It was a really special match, wasn't it? And just the way that Rafa came out onto the court, he was so fired up in the first set, played probably the best set of tennis I've seen him play in a long, long time. And from then on, just weathered the storm. And we thought for sure it was going to a 5th set. It looked that way. Djokovic had the set points, and he just was a little bit too casual when he had the opportunities, and that's when Rafa really takes advantage of the situation. And from then on, he was so intense to close that match out, wasn't flustered at all, even in the tiebreak when he went from 6-1 to 6-4 in the breaker, and just waited for the right moment and really deserved that win, actually. When you think about it, he played the better tennis overall throughout the match and really just fought. I mean, as Rafa always does, but today it was so special. And I think, it makes it even more special at this stage of a Grand Slam with all of his health issues and injuries for the last couple of years. We don't know how often we're going to get to see him compete like this, and watching that, I hope he's able to do it for many, many years to come.
I think he's wiping away a couple of tears on the court at the moment as he speaks to the 2013 Wimbledon champion Marion Bartoli, who's obviously the compere at the French Open. We'll hopefully hear from Nadal in the next few minutes. Incredible stuff. I mean, we've used so many superlatives, haven't we, Laura, this evening? 4 hours and 12 minutes they were on court. The match was just swinging from one way to the next throughout. And it was hard to call it, wasn't it? But it's just unbelievable. And of course, as a side thing to this as well, Nadal has not only knocked out the world number one, but he's obviously knocked out the reigning champion.
Yeah, it just had everything. And we were talking before the match about whether Rafa would even be able to come out and perform at his best, considering how long his previous match was. That was about 4.5 hours. And then the turnaround was pretty quick to today, and he didn't want to play at night. He prefers the conditions in the day when it's a bit quicker on the clay and he can get a bit more speed on his ball. But as soon as he walks out into the court, all of that stuff goes to the side and he just competes. And that's what is so special about him. I mean, that he was probably frustrated at the situation, and that as a 13-time Grand Slam champion here in Paris, you would think that his requests would be taken on board, but unfortunately for him, the hand was dealt and he had to play at night. But it doesn't matter, and he just deals with it. And I have to say, it wasn't the warmest handshake I've seen from the two of them. There was a bit of drama thrown in here and there throughout the match where they were giving each other some stares, and there was a few times where I thought Rafa maybe delayed the play, even on one of the match points where Djokovic had to wait quite a bit of time before a second serve. So I think potentially was a bit of a cold handshake, but I'd need to see the replay of it just to confirm.
It took Rafa Nadal winning a 29th career match against Novak Djokovic to break our connection to Paris, but I think we're back now at Philippe Chatrier with Annabelle Croft and Russell Fuller, and Nadal is still on court speaking to Marion Bartoli.
Yes, let's hear one of his answers in English. He's answered the first question in France, and Marion Bartoli now talking about the love of the crowd and Nadal's love of this court.
There is no one other place like this one for me. It's the most important court of my tennis career, the most special one. And as I said before in French, I don't know if I was able to speak the proper way, but for me, feel the love of everyone here in Paris, in the most important place of my career. It means everything to me.
Don't worry, you said it beautifully in French and you say it beautifully in English. And please, just stay for us on this court. Please come back. Just don't say it might be not another year, because we love you so much and we want to see you many, many more times on this court.
Okay. See you, by the way, in 2 days. That's the only thing that I can say. So many, many thanks. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde. Merci.
Mesdames et messieurs, Rafael Nadal.
He's into the semi-finals, a match that finished at 1:15 in the morning, 4 hours and 12 minutes, and the match that just kept on surprising us, Delith. I think that was the thing when Djokovic levelled the match at 1-set all the smart money seemed to be on him, just seizing control of the match. But Nadal won the third and then surprised us all again by turning that fourth set around from 5-2 down. And you could see the belief draining out of Novak Djokovic. And for once, we called the tiebreak right, I think. That fourth set tiebreak always looked like it was going to Nadal. And it is another astonishing win for him. He's into a 37th Grand Slam semi-final, a 15th Roland Garros semi-final. He's chasing a 14th title in Paris, a 22nd Grand Slam title, but don't think just because he's beaten Novak Djokovic that he's a shoo-in for the title. He's spent 8.5 hours on court over the last 2 rounds. He's playing 25-year-old Alex Zverev, who'll be a fair bit fresher in the semi-finals on Friday. And there are a lot of other hungry players like Marin Cilic and Andrei Rublev in the other half of the draw. So the drama's certainly not done yet.
Oh my gosh, no. Annabelle, if memory serves me correct, I think after the first couple of games of the entire match, you said if it carries on like this is going to be a blockbuster. I know it's easy to get carried away when things happen right in front of you in the present, but how does this match between the two compare to others that you've seen before, do